Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Black Ops Cold War Zombies video, and today we have a lot to discuss about up and coming content, new information about the next Berlin Zombies map, new information about the Outbreak Easter egg, and a lot more awesome stuff. But before I get into all of the juicy information, I have an awesome service to let you guys be aware of. Tonight's video has been kindly sponsored by Sizzle for streamers that you can check out for free using the link in this video's description. Streamers, have you ever wished for the ability to auto-generate stream highlight videos instead of spending ages siphoning through hours of footage? Well, thanks to Sizzle's amazing platform, you can now do so. It allows you to download automatically generated action-packed highlights from Twitch and YouTube streams within 12 hours of completion. Right now it is still in beta and only works for games such as Warzone, Valorant, League of Legends, Fortnite, PUBG, Apex Legends, and even Garena Free Fire. Support for Black Ops Cold War and plenty of other games will be coming. As he said, it is currently in beta, so it's only available for Twitch streamers right now, but YouTube support will be coming very soon. Using Sizzle is actually very simple. All you have to do is create an account on sizzle.gg and link your Twitch account. You want to make sure you click refresh on your stream dashboard to detect your latest live streams. Then select any one of your past streams and within just a couple of clicks turn it into a sizzle that'll be available for you to download within 12 hours. You can then upload it directly to YouTube, TikTok, or any other platforms to help grow your audience without a lot of extra work. This feature is something that streamers have long since needed and will aid people with keeping up with live streams as well as YouTube video highlights to expand and diversify. Because Sizzle is currently in open beta, any sizzle made during this period is completely free, and as I said, you can check it out for free using the link in this video's description. Anyways, let's continue on with the rest of the video. So, bringing it back to the subject of the video, first things first, I want to talk about when we will be seeing the Berlin Zombies map. So, as you guys know, this map has been rumoured since before Black Ops Cold War even released, as there was a guy in the official Call of Duty Discord that leaked a bunch of upcoming content. And when he said that there was a Berlin map coming, which is apparently codenamed ZM_Platinum, he said that it was at the time planned to release in Season 4. But the thing is, there is a very good chance that this map will instead be coming with Season 3 Reloaded, the latter end of Season 3. And the reason for that is because Firebase C was supposed to release with Season 2. It was announced, however they then pushed the release date slightly forward to Season 1 Reloaded. And since there has been that shift, maybe we could see the Berlin Zombies map with Season 3 Reloaded. In terms of why I don't think the Berlin Zombies map is going to be releasing at the start of Season 3, which is scheduled to release on April the 21st/April the 22nd, depending on which time zone you are in, is because that is when we will be seeing the Outbreak Easter egg added to the game. And I highly doubt they're going to add a new Zombies map that has a main Easter egg as well, whilst introducing an Easter egg at the same time. It doesn't really make any sense. And speaking of the Outbreak Easter egg, Treyarch did tweet this on Twitter, saying, "Can you find all of the Easter eggs with a picture of Glover from Outbreak?" And this led people to think that the Outbreak Easter egg was added to the game. Well, no, if you look closely on this image, they just hid a little Easter eggs on it. This is just something done for Easter. This is not a hinter at the Outbreak Easter egg releasing early or something like that. Recently though, fellow Zombies YouTuber codename Pizza said in a live stream that there will be a new map coming at the start of Season 3.
So our Season 3 to start in 3 weeks, we're going to get a brand new, real Zombies experience, Zombies map.
I've seen some other people making videos about this and talking about this, saying that maybe the Berlin Zombies map will be coming at the start of Season 3. Well, I think that this is most likely referencing to a new Fireteam/Outbreak map coming to the game, because it seems like we're seeing one new Fireteam map every single season. From the full Ural Mountains map that you can see on screen, there's still a bunch of points of interest left to release, and since we are going to be seeing the main Easter egg with the start of Season 3, it it would make sense for them to introduce another location from the Ural Mountains to correspond with the main Easter egg. But not only is there going to be a main Easter egg added to Outbreak with Season 3, but there will also be plenty of other side Easter eggs added. So I'm excited to see what they end up being. It does seem like Outbreak is going to be a lot better when we look back on the mode in a year's time after it's had a bunch of updates. Codename Pizza also mentioned in the live stream about how Kino Der Toten is rumoured to be this Berlin Zombies map,
which is apparently a Kino Der Toten remake. I don't know if I believe that yet, but that's what apparently it is. And then with Outbreak, we've got loads more maps coming as well. But I want to get onto the brand new map. We're going on to Galova.
I don't know why, but some people have been making videos about this saying that maybe he's heard that Kino Der Toten is the Berlin Zombies map. It just sounded like he was talking about speculation in the community, because we've been speculating about Kino Der Toten ever since this guy on Discord leaked it way before launch. I don't think that he has heard anything. Obviously, he did partake in the Q&A session with Treyarch before Outbreak release with a bunch of other zombies YouTubers and influencers. However, as he said in a prior video, I have recently heard some rumours floating around the community that Kino Der Toten might not be a part of this Berlin Zombies map after all. I said in that video how I was going to try and verify if this is in fact correct, and I just want to update you that I have not heard any more information since then. So I still do not know if this is true or not. Obviously, I've made countless videos where I've basically put Kino Der Toten confirmed in my title and stuff like that, because it is literally teased in the game. And if it turns out that Kino Der Toten isn't a part of the Berlin Zombies map, whether it was removed, because for some weird reason, weird people in the community are complaining about reused assets, even though zombies has always reused assets. And if it turns out that Kino Der Toten is not a part of the Berlin Zombies map, I will go back to all of my old videos and update the titles and also add pinned comments and stuff like that, just clarifying things. Right now though, I'm a bit confused, so I don't really have any more information to talk about regarding this subject matter specifically. As he said in my other video though, I've just heard rumours that Kino Der Toten might not be a part of Berlin after all, even though it has been heavily rumoured and leaked. But like I said, I've not been able to verify this, so I do not know whether this is true or false, so do not take my word for it. Obviously, I have countless other videos where I've literally pretty much been 110% convinced that Kino will be a part of this Berlin map, so I'm really torn on what to believe here. So I'm just waiting on getting further clarification, or maybe we get some official information from Treyarch, because it does seem odd that Kino wouldn't be a part of Berlin when the red marker in the menu for the game points to the TV tower located in Berlin that just so happens to be situated right outside of Kino Der Toten. Now, I've seen some people saying this is not evidence for Kino Der Toten being a part of the Berlin map, and basically people have said, well, you can see the Berlin TV tower from pretty much no matter where you are in Berlin because it is so tall, and you can even see it in the Brick in the Wall campaign mission in Berlin, and yes, you can see it from everywhere, but my point is that it is literally located right outside of Kino Der Toten. So if this Berlin Zombies map is going to be exploring the city streets of Berlin by the TV tower, then Kino Der Toten would be a part of the map because it is so close and it would encompass it. There's no reason that the abandoned Nazi theatre known as Kino Der Toten wouldn't be still there, because the Toten bunker is still in its original place in Poland that we see in Die Maschine, so surely the theatre would still remain. Maybe it's been untouched since World War II and we will stumble upon it on the map, or maybe that's where even Valentina is heading, as that might be the focal point for where they're going to unleash the Nazis from the Dark Aether from. Next up, in terms of the Outbreak Easter egg itself, I'm assuming that the Easter egg is going to be Requiem and Omega Group clashing against each other as they are both carrying out experiments on site at the Ural Mountains and competing against each other. Omega were there first, Requiem turned up later, and I do wonder as to what characters are going to play a role in the Easter egg. I definitely think that we will likely see Ravenoff, because we know that he was heading to the Ural Mountains within the Firebase Sea ending cutscene, but he's nowhere to be seen on the map, so he might talk to us and conduct us through the Easter egg. I'm sure that people like Dr. Peck and other familiar faces will also make an appearance. I really do wonder how the Easter egg is going to play out though, especially because we have the different maps. Is there going to be a specific order for which steps you do on each of the specific maps? I'm really interested to see how it ends up playing out. I think that the Easter egg is probably going to be us closing up the Dark Aether rift and restoring the map to the regular world, because obviously at the Ural Mountains, because it is the largest Dark Aether incursion zone, the Dark Aether and the regular world are starting to bleed together as one. That is why we see Dark Aether crystals around the map, even though we are not within the Dark Aether, as it seems like the Dark Aether crystals have the ability to terraform and change the nearby atmosphere, and it appears as though the crystals make the environment darker, colder, and damper as it better suits the Dark Aether's inhabitants. That is why from the intel we learn that Samantha Maxis' eyes are now sensitive to the light, as obviously she now has purple eyes, and because she has been in the Dark Aether for quite some time, that is why she is better accustomed to the Dark Aether's environment. And it seems like at the Ural Mountains, because it is the focal point of the breach between the regular world and the Dark Aether, that is why the area is starting to become more like the Dark Aether, and that is why these crystals are terraforming the area. And maybe that is why Sanatorium is set at nighttime, because it has quite literally been terraformed, because I don't know why it's set at nighttime if the other maps are at day. Surely they should all be at the same time setting roundabouts. Anyways, with the release of Season 2 Reloaded, we do have some new intel that talks about Berlin, and it discusses Operation Inversion, and I'll play that piece of intel for you right now.
I just returned from the Kremlin, where I presented the list of proposed targets for Operatia Inversia to the General Secretary and select members of the Committee for State Security. The results were mixed. I should be pleased that the overall plan was so well received. Perhaps they realized that without bold action the Soviet Union could collapse within a decade. And Inversia is nothing if not bold. It would be a death blow to the West, which may account for the committee's preference of two particular targets. But I pushed hard for Berlin. It would have afforded me further opportunities to complete my preparations there. The colonel did question my fixation on Berlin, but I just told him I hate the Germans. That is always enough of an excuse for veterans of the great patriotic war like Kravchenko.
So just to recap a little bit on what is happening in the storyline, I've talked about this in plenty of videos, but obviously Valentina for Omega Group is meeting up with an unknown operator in Berlin, and thanks to newly acquired targeted anomaly technology from the Ural Mountains, she is going to force a Dark Aether breach in Berlin to unleash lost Nazis from the Dark Aether that were sent in there during World War II as a way for them to get a massive one-up on the war, because time works differently in the Dark Aether, so they were able to go inside the Dark Aether and return at a later date, and that would have been hundreds if not thousands of years from their perspective, so it would give them a lot of time to prepare. And judging from the name Operation Inversion, it sounds like they are trying to invert the regular world with the Dark Aether, like what is already happening at the Ural Mountains, but maybe on a much bigger scale. Maybe they're trying to merge the two worlds together entirely, so the regular world literally merges with the Dark Aether. That would be a great turn of events, and if that were to be the case, I can't even imagine just how many crazy creatures will come onto the map. And we have this cipher that is a piece of intel. When translated, it says, "Attention K, P confirms viability of deployment, opportunity identified in previous communique, selected site is approved for trial run of Operation Inversion. The nature of warfare is about to transform, anytime, any place, anywhere," and then it's signed G. G is Gorev, which is Kravchenko's right-hand man. We don't really know too much about him just yet. K is Kravchenko himself, since he's the leader of Omega's fire teams, and then P seems to be Dr. Peck, considering he is on site carrying out experiments in the Ural Mountains. So with this intel in mind, it seems like Operation Inversion is going to be what the Easter egg for Outbreak is all about, but it seems like Valentina is pushing for Berlin too. So it seems like maybe Berlin and the Outbreak Easter egg could actually be taking place at the exact same time, canonically wise, as they might both be a part of Operation Operation Inversion, but that's just a theory, I don't know. So from this, I wonder whether Operation Inversion is not just going to be taking place at a set point in time, as it does say any mission, any time, any place. But we really don't know what exactly this is, we will just have to wait and see. And it seems like the basis of Project Inversion was sending warheads to specific locations in the Ural Mountains or near the Ural Mountains and also Berlin. So we do not know exactly what these warheads are going to do, but I feel like they're somehow going to damage the rift between the Dark Aether and the regular world. So maybe they're just going to send these warheads directly into it, and that will cause some sort of clash in which the Dark Aether and the regular world will merge together. Another thing that people have been saying is maybe the Dark Aether and the regular world are going to flip, so it's going to send the regular world into the Dark Aether and the Dark Aether into the regular world. I don't think that's going to be the case because the Dark Aether is basically like the regular world anyways, like we've seen on Die Maschine, for example. The map is still the same when you are in the Dark Aether, so I don't see what the point would be of inverting it. I feel like it's most likely just going to merge them together, but that's just my own theory. No one really knows for sure, unfortunately. So Kravchenko questioned Valentina about her fixation on Berlin, but he managed to manipulate her, so clearly, as I've speculated in prior videos, she is the one wearing the trousers in Omega, not Kravchenko. She is manipulating Omega and subsequently Requiem against each other for this fake war, and it's all just a front for her to unleash the Nazis from the Dark Aether. And we still do not know as to why she is doing this though. What is her secret agenda? Thanks to Kalanine for creating this map, but we also know of all of the different inversion sites near the Ural Mountains. However, none of which actually take place on the Ural Mountains maps themselves. Maybe one of them is actually Mount Yamantau that we explore within the campaign for the game, but it does seem like they are trying to create Germania, because if they unleash the lost Nazis from the Dark Aether onto the regular world, they might take over the world like they always wanted to do, and we will see the rise of a new undead Reich. And the focal point for that could be Berlin, since that seems to be where they're going to escape from the Dark Aether first. With Season 2 Reloaded, we have this other piece of intel that confirms that Valentino was indeed responsible for reactivating the cyclotron at Project Endstation, aka Die Maschine.
15th of July, 1983. Comrade Valentina, I am recording this meeting for my records.
Of course, Colonel. I take it you have viewed the Project Endstation footage.
Nuta, where did you find this film?
Gathering dust in a restricted portion of Lubyanka's sub-basement record storage. Someone went to great lengths to bury the incident back in '45. But times have changed since then.
Indeed. That cowboy actor and his strategic defense initiative have upset the stalemate between us and the West. I asked for something to tip the scales back in our favor. You think this is it?
There is only one way to find out. Allow me to reactivate the Endstation cyclotron. If I can harness their access to another dimension, we can give the motherland a tactical advantage the Americans can only dream of.
And if you cannot harness it?
Then bury the bunker in concrete and declare the place off limits. And maybe leave flowers every year to remember my sacrifice.
I don't care about sacrifice. Only results. I will authorize your mission. But you had better bring back something I can use.
Understood, Colonel. Understood.
So I speculated about this in prior videos, about how I think she's been pulling the strings all along, and it seems like yes, she is solely responsible for the undead outbreak and the Dark Aether starting to bleed into the regular world, because she is the one who reactivated the cyclotron. She is the one pulling Omega strings right now, and is leading Kravchenko down this path. It's not really his decision, she's just manipulating him. And like I said earlier, I don't really know why she is doing this, why she is freeing the Nazis for an unknown purpose, unless there is a greater purpose, such as maybe freeing the accursed one from the Dark Aether. I don't know what her end goal is. Maybe her end goal is to harness the Dark Aether's properties, because it seems like when you're exposed to Ethereum, aka Exoelement 1, you gain psychotronic ethereal powers, such as telekinesis and telepathy, and a load of other crazy abilities that we saw Samantha harness within the old Aether storyline that we never actually saw in game, that are similar to the Keeper's abilities. I also want to bring up this old piece of intel called Nose to Nose from Maya from Requiem, of whom warns that the undead will go global if people find out, because Berlin is the focal point of the Cold War.
This is Heinrich Meyer, Station Chief, Berlin, Office of Requiem. Weaver, we have a developing situation over here. Reliable human places Dr. Alexandra Valentina of KGB Spetsnaz Omega Group here in West Berlin. She was observed scouting several locations in the city. Objective unknown. This is very distressing, to say the least. Dr. Valentina is directly involved with Omega's interdimensional research. If she is here expecting or intending for something to happen... Weaver, we have been very fortunate so far that most of Omega's operations have been in remote, rural areas. Berlin, on the other hand, is the focal point of the Cold War. The world is always watching us. If they were to launch an op here, I have a team trying to intercept her communications. I will alert you should they succeed.
So yeah, all of the prior Zombies maps in Black Ops Cold War have been isolated incidences, and Omega and Requiem have been able to create fake cover stories such as nuclear explosions, toxic waste, viral outbreaks to cover for the undead outbreaks, so that the world and that the news and that the other nations don't know about them. But if there is an undead outbreak in Berlin, because it is the focal point of the Cold War, literally everyone is going to know, and at that point, that is when it's no longer going to become a secret thing from the world. All eyes will be on this. So I'm interested to see what ends up happening on this Berlin map that seems to be set at nighttime, by the way, judging from the calling card that we actually see Samantha in the exact same location as the D Machina intro. So I am wondering what the atmosphere is going to be like for this map. It seems like it'll probably be quite similar to the Brick in the Wall campaign mission. I'm assuming that there's going to be lots of areas from that campaign mission that are the same in this Zombies map, similar to how part of Firebase C is taken from the campaign as well, and I don't mind that at all, but it seems like Berlin is going to be destroyed and on fire, so the contrast between the bright flames and the night sky is going to be quite jarring. Another thing that I want to bring up is another piece of intel in Cold War Zombies called Both Ways, and this is coming from Samantha, in which she talks about an even bigger threat than Omega and Requiem.
I don't know how much they really tell you about the Dark Aether, but I've seen it. I have felt it. No matter how big this Cold War is between East and West, Requiem and Omega, there's an even bigger one threatening to boil over. We are interested in them, eager to know how we can exploit their world for our advantage. But believe me, they're just as interested in us. The door swings both ways.
And I'm assuming that this even bigger threat is in fact the Nazis in the Dark Aether, or maybe even something else, because it does seem like Omega and Requiem are just pawns being played by higher powers, such as Valentina messing with Omega to unleash the Nazis, and also the director of Requiem seems to be Dodgy as well. He is Russian, and he probably has an unknown agenda too. There is a mole in Requiem as well, who we think is Carver, so pretty much everyone is being messed with on both sides, and there is a lot of espionage, and both sides don't really know who the true threat is, because there is an even bigger threat in the Dark Aether. The next thing that I want to bring up is there's been some recent wonder weapon leaks from various different data miners on Twitter, such as Magua, Call of Duty Hope, and a lot more. Basically, they found in the files of the game something called a Mega Barrel, and it is a wonder weapon. It does have the highest legendary rarity, and it is yellow just like a wonder weapon, and some people have been speculating that this might be a new wonder weapon that's going to be available on the Berlin Zombies map, but I feel like it's much more likely that this is going to be a wonder weapon added with the Outbreak Easter egg with the launch of Season 3. Now, we do not know exactly what this weapon is because it looks like it might even be an attachment as opposed to a weapon itself, so you might be able to just apply it to any weapon, and there are 4 different variants of it apparently with 5 different effects, and each effect seemingly corresponds to a certain boss. So one of the effects is the shot of the Mangler's blaster, one is a purple electricity beam and flare from the Tempest, the new version of the Avogadro. So apparently the different effects include a micro missile, which might be the Panzer's missile, and also the Giga laser from the Mangler, a copycat effect which I'm assuming is based off of the Mimics, then there's the diffusion beam which is based off of the Tempest, and there is also a blazer beam which I think might be from the Megaton, but that's just Magua's speculation. We're not exactly sure what the different effects are, but I'm really excited to see this wonder weapon introduced to the game. As he said, I think this is going to be something that's going to be able to be applied to any weapon that you have, and if that is the case, it's really going to spice things up. I wonder if you're going to be able to alternate between your normal shots or the Mega Barrel shots. I think this is cool though, and is less generic than just a traditional wonder weapon, and it opens up the door for future weapon modifications that we could see in the future. I feel like most likely this is going to be a buildable or something that you're going to have to obtain via some sort of mini quest. I don't really know what exactly this weapon is going to be, but like I said, I think it's going to be for the Outbreak Easter egg, and it does seem like it's an attachment as opposed to a full-on weapon, unless right now the weapon doesn't have its model in the game and it's just using placeholder weapons. But from the Outbreak intel, we know that both Omega and Requiem have been experimenting and capturing high-value targets in the Ural Mountains, such as capturing the Panzers, the Manglers, the Tempest, etc. So it would make sense that if they've been experimenting on these creatures, that they have been able to recreate their technology to use as weaponry. I think it's really cool though that we might be seeing a wonder weapon based off of the boss zombies. Another thing that I want to bring up is recently there's been a lot of quote-unquote leaked images of the Berlin Zombies map floating around. I want to say that these gameplay pictures are completely fake. They are just on custom zombies with Black Ops Cold War's HUD. So yeah, don't be fooled by this. So in terms of a Warzone, as you guys know, it has recently been leaked that with the release of Season 3, the Nuke event is actually going to transition to a post-Cold War version of Verdansk. So we won't be seeing the Ural Mountains yet. So either the Ural Mountains is cancelled or is being delayed for a later date. And I am wondering, since we are going to be unleashing the lost Nazis from the Dark Aether, and potentially we might be merging the regular world with the Dark Aether, then maybe after the Berlin map, Nazis will overrun the full world. Because like I said earlier, I think that the Outbreak Easter egg might be getting rid of the undead and the Dark Aether in that region, because the Fireteam maps take place after Outbreak takes place, months later, and there are no zombies to be seen. So maybe we cleanse the area of the Dark Aether, but then we free the Nazis from the Dark Aether, and the world starts bleeding with the Dark Aether, and then there are Nazis in the Ural Mountains, and Call of Duty 2021 is rumoured to be called World War II Vanguard, developed by Sledgehammer Games. And if we're not going to be seeing a proper World War II map for Warzone, then maybe we could see the Ural Mountains overrun by the Nazi zombies, and that could be how it ties in with World War II Vanguard. After all, Nazi zombies did turn up on the Vodiano ship, so I'm assuming that the ship was lost at sea 37 years ago, and it went through a Dark Aether anomaly, and when it was within the Dark Aether, Nazi zombies climbed on board, but then teleported back out of the Dark Aether in 2021 on Verdansk, and that is why there are Nazi zombies there. So maybe this World War II Vanguard game could actually explore what the Nazis were up to during World War II and after World War II in the 1950s and onward, preparing for their eventual return in the 80s. And maybe we might still be seeing the Ural Mountains added into Warzone after all. It could just be delayed for maybe a year from now, or maybe with the release of World War II Vanguard in November-ish. Anyways, that's everything I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.